Now, don't get me confused. I am not calling for violence or riots or anything like that. Let me be crystal clear. Violence is what they want because that justifies them to clamp down even harder and to censor and to label everyone who disagrees with them as a threat. What I am calling for is focus. Controlled, strategic, civic pressure, a peaceful rebellion of accountability. What I am calling for is the recognition that people who say that they are on our side are just as bad as the people that they are telling you to hate. Isn't it funny? They're always telling you all you have to do to fix the country is vote them back into power and get the other guys out of power. Well, if it was that easy, then wouldn't a single freaking thing get changed? That is why myself and a lot of other people, especially those in my generation, have chosen to start aligning with the more extreme versions of conservatism. Not because we are filled with some hatred, although that definitely does exist in a few people, but because we are tired of a system that tells us that it is on our side, yet we have been screwed over at every single chance. Now, do I nor other people seriously want to put our trust and faith in Nazis? Hell no. Hell no, hell no, hell no. We want people who actually have the balls to say their beliefs and actually stand by them unapologetically. Even if I disagree with you, I'm going to respect consistency. I want to take a moment. I want each of you, at least those who are old enough, to remember what conservatives have actually done for you. See, I have an amazing example of something that's actually currently going on here. Republicans could end the filibuster. They could do it tomorrow, but they are choosing not to. They are making an active decision. And what excuse could they possibly give for not wanting to actually use their power? Well, they say once Democrats get back in power, they'll use it against them. That's right, because Democrats have never used political power to harm their opponents. They definitely didn't weaponize the justice system and perform a raid on an ex-president's home. They definitely didn't make up a whole bunch of fake charges to try to put someone in jail for the rest of their freaking life. When Democrats are in power, they do it. They use power. They understand the game is about momentum. The right, however, we act like we're playing chess while the left is playing freaking rugby. One side is trying to win while the other side is trying to look noble, losing. That is what's dying in this country. True conviction. We have too many people who check the political weather every morning before deciding what they believe that day. So you're saying that we cannot use political power in our government because Democrats eventually might use it against us. That is such a ridiculous point because they're already using it. They are already willing and able to do whatever. It doesn't matter if we add any more things to it. In fact, I would actually bet money that if Democrats win the next election cycle, they will start putting people in jail simply because of their political beliefs. Because they have already shown that they are willing to use extreme words to call every single person who disagrees with them fascist or Nazis. Once you do that, you can't debate anymore because you're just labeled a threat, a Nazi, or a traitor. Words do not mean anything. They're just triggers. Two different realities are going on in America. One says that if you don't want your country to be destroyed, you're racist. And the other is starting to ask a few simple questions. And as a result of them asking a few simple questions, we are now told that there's some type of Republican civil war going on. And now, of course, it's the Republicans' turn to call everyone they disagree with a freaking Nazi. Because that's the worst thing we could possibly think of to call somebody. In today's world, words mean nothing. Because our politicians have used our understandings of words to elicit emotional reactions. Because after all, that is all our political system is. It's emotional bullcrap theater. And the worst part is it works. Because most Americans do not have the mental capacity to look beyond first order effects. If it sounds good, it must be good. Do y'all remember back in elementary school whenever people would just run for class president and they would stand up in front of the room and say, I'm going to eliminate homework, give free pizza, and give candy to all the students. And of course we'd cheer because that sounded great. Because of course, if it sounds great, it must be great. Of course, there's nothing bad could ever happen. Politics in America is the exact same thing. You just have a bunch of children up there promising whatever the hell they think is going to get them back in power. Because that's all these people care about, getting or staying in power. And what do? Nothing. We allow it. Now, listen, do not take any of what I'm saying now or in the future as some kind of call for violence. I do not think violence is the answer. And I think a major civil war would actually open America up to foreign country invasions. What I am saying is we need to put our money where our mouth is. We have to start actually doing things to change the country instead of just sitting around with other people and complaining in our living rooms. We need to go to city council meetings, run for school board, start local media that doesn't have to answer to advertisers. We need to meet our representatives. We need to go meet whoever we can in our government, either your town, your state, or your county. Meet them, talk with them, express yourself. We cannot change anything if complaining is the only thing we do. We have to take useful action to actually change America. Volunteer for the people in your area running for office. Learn what they're supposed to stand for and follow the money. See where they're getting their donations from and see if any of the PACs that are donating to them seem to have a conflict of interest. It's time for Americans to grow up and start taking personal responsibility instead of just blaming the other side for everything. Guys, we've been doing that for 100 years. It's not working.